We all want to be able to save money regardless of our income, right? In this video, I'm sharing with you step by step how I approach saving money here in the Netherlands without necessarily having a very high income. Now, not that long ago, as some of you probably know by now, I was working as a full-time architect, earning anywhere between 1,600 to 2,000 euros. And believe it or not, this is actually considered to be relatively low salary here in the Netherlands. However, despite the fact I still managed to save up to almost 2 years of living expenses in just under 3 years. And this has allowed me to switch to a part-time job in digital marketing to then eventually switch to running my own business full-time at the start of this year. Now, if you want to be able to save money so you can eventually change jobs or make different moves for yourself, then continue watching. First up, take inventory of your current monthly expenses, especially when it comes to rent and your utilities. Now, ideally, you should not be spending more than 1/3 of your monthly income on these expenses. So for example, if you're earning 2,000 euros after taxes, your rent should be around 650 to 700 euros per month. Now, this might mean, depending on where you want to live, that you're sharing a house with other people. However, if you're young and if you're able to, and if you're not going to be spending too much time at home, then definitely this is a good option. But if you're looking for a single person studio, then you're likely to spend more than 700 euros. And if your income is high enough, this is something that you can definitely do. However, be really mindful here with this kind of expenses increasing with bigger rent. It easily can become a slippery slope, preventing you from saving for your other future goals. And if you're a couple making around 4,000 euros per month after taxes, you can freely spend 1,300 on rent without really worrying about it. And for that amount of money, in major cities, you are able to rent very decent prices. I actually recently toured a property that is within that budget in Rotterdam, and that video is popping up on your screen right now. So make sure to check that out after this video. Last note on here is that if your utilities are not included in the rent that you're paying, and if this is something that you have to arrange for yourself, which is unlikely, but sometimes does happen, I encourage you to get in touch with several providers to make sure that you're getting the best deal for yourself. The second thing that had the most impact when it comes to how much money I was able to save was auditing my monthly subscriptions. Now, you all know what I'm talking about here. We all have them: Spotify, Netflix, Apple TV, Amazon, you name it, there are plenty of them. And when you do pay for these things, it's like a 10 euro there, 12 euro there. It's not really a lot of money, but at the end of the month, all of these subscriptions add up to, 70, sometimes well over 100 euros. So this might be a good time to ask yourself, do you really need all of these subscriptions? Can you cancel some of them, if not all of them? Because then you can take that money and save it for another experience that's really going to enhance the quality of your life. So that could be traveling or doing other kinds of activities that don't necessarily involve sitting in front of the TV. The best way to track all of these little subscriptions is through a budgeting app. Now, my bank is with ABN AMRO, and they have an app that they developed called Grip. So there I can easily see how much money is going where. And through that app, I was able to audit all of these expenses, and I basically canceled all of my subscriptions that are solely for entertainment that I'm saving for something else in the future. After the monthly audits, I actually went ahead and completed the third step, which is to open a savings account with my bank. Now, most of the banks here in the Netherlands allow you to open a savings account at no extra charge, which is a great way to make sure you get to save some money. And how I started was basically to put 10% of my income every month into the savings account, and then to gradually raise that to above 30%. And in the beginning, this was definitely challenging because you have to make some very clear decisions as to where your money is going to go every month. But trust me, the feeling of seeing a cushion being built up in a savings account is so amazing. And it's really great to have this kind of buffer for yourself, for your future, or any kind of emergency that might pop up in the future. Now, one of the mistakes that I did in the early days, however, was as I saw the money increase in there and I wanted to buy something that I didn't necessarily need, I would easily tap into that account to make a purchase. This is something that I encourage you not to do. Make sure you have a very clear boundary between what is the account that you can actually use and what is your savings account that gets put away for the future or for a rainy day. Here, I want to mention one more thing. I did the saving at the start of the month automatically, because remember, if you do not set that money early, at the end of the month, you're likely not going to have anything to save. The fourth step is how and where you do your grocery shopping. Now, there are a lot of supermarkets here in the Netherlands, and they're all relatively the same when it comes to the kind of products that you're able to purchase. Now, the big difference is in their pricing most of the time. So Albert Heijn, for example, is considered a little bit more higher end, even though it's basically everywhere in the country. And you have other shops like Jumbo or Dirk that tend to be a little bit more budget friendly. And alongside those, you also have the markets every week where you can actually go and do grocery and fruit shopping and end up saving quite a bit of money as well. Now, what I used to do in the very early days was to just go to Albert Heijn and basically buy anything and everything without paying so much attention to how much money I'm actually spending. And then one thing that I did really change the game for me was to go to Jumbo, Dirk, and Albert Heijn, look at all of the items that I tend to purchase the most frequently, and then make a list of how much everything costs. So now every week I make sure to go to the shops where I am going to get the best deals when it comes to the kind of stuff that I will be purchasing for that week. And I really encourage you to do this for yourself as well. Now, not to say that everything in Jumbo and Dirk is extremely affordable. You might be very surprised because there are also very, very wonderful deals that you can also get at Albert Heijn. And don't forget to get yourself a Jumbo card as well as an Albert Heijn card. I believe Dirk also has a discount card these days. So this way you're actually doing a little bit more saving when it comes to your groceries. Remember, every little bit here is really going to help you to save more money. Fifth thing is super easy, and this is very Dutch, and that is to prepare your own lunch to bring to work. If you're still going to the office or if you're at home, make sure to create a lot more of an affordable lunch for yourself. Now, big reason why I'm mentioning this is in the early days when I was working as a full-time architect, some weeks I wouldn't have any lunch with me, which meant that I had to quickly run down to Albert Heijn to grab like a salad, a sandwich, and most of the times a snack alongside a juice. And this usually ended up being between 5 to 7 euros. And if you look at the whole week, and if you do that 5 times a week, that starts to add up. So that's 35 euros for the week. If you do that for 2 weeks, you're spending 70 euros. And now for the whole month, you're actually spending 140 euros just for eating out at Albert Heijn for your lunches, versus you could easily spend that money on just a whole month's worth of groceries, if not sometimes more. So I really encourage you to just prepare your own lunches home and bring them to work. So this way you don't have to do the mistake I made by going down to Albert Heijn and buying their overpriced and not so tasty salads. And the next tip is to walk or bike as much as possible. A lot of the cities here are very bike and foot friendly, and this is really going to help you to save money on public transport as well as gas if you have a car. But if you must be using public transport, then make sure you do get yearly discounts through ov.nl. this ends up saving so much money. And I wish this is something that I knew much earlier on as well. My 7th tip is to save your loose change and bills somewhere safe. Now, because it is not in your bank account, it doesn't mean that it's not money. It's still money and it adds up. So you might as well have control over it. And at the end of the month, you're going to see that it's substantial amount of money, and you can actually do, grocery shopping with it, or put it back into your bank account, or maybe even invest it. And I really want you to think about this. Just because it's like a loose change here, loose change there, it's still money and it's still energy. I believe money is energy and it needs to be kept in a sacred way. And by being very aware of this, you're actually going to be attracting a lot more abundance in your life. At least this is what I've been practicing. And I sincerely believe that it is working, because you're showing that you care about money, you're mindful of money, and you're giving your money a physical place to go. The 8th tip is one of my favorites, and that is to shop at Buy and Corf during times where they have the 70% discount. Now, for those of you who don't know, Buy and Corf is the luxury shop here in the Netherlands. They have all sorts of mid and high-end designer clothes, accessories, shoes, and what have you. And I really love shopping here, especially when I'm able to get a very great discount, which equals to the price of a fast fashion store. I'm much more of a fan of getting something that's higher quality and well made at, let's say, 70 euros from 300 euros discounted than, walking to a shop like Zara or Mango, which I'm so against, because it's not ethical, it's fast fashion, and it's really not doing great things for the environment. And get 2 things or 3 things from there and spend that same 70 euros. This actually ends up saving you so much more money in the long run, because what you bought is quality and it's going to last a lifetime, versus something that's very poorly made with very low quality fabric that's going to fall apart after a few washes. As I'm coming to the end of this episode, if this was helpful to you so far, don't forget to give the video a like. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, or if you don't have the notifications turned on, make sure to do that. It helps out this channel a lot, and it helps me bring more of these great tips about life, career, and business in the Netherlands to you. Now, with that said, I really want to wrap this up with one of my other favorite tips, and that is to travel over the weekend to cities where you have a lot of free entertainment options. And basically, if you go to a bigger city, this is going to be very easy to achieve. So that way you're basically only paying for your open bar for food or your transportation. And if you have a discount card, it's not going to cost you a lot to get to the city. For example, Amsterdam. And if you're traveling with 2 or more people, you can actually get a group discount, therefore save even more money on your public transport travel. And when you're in a city like Amsterdam, you have so much potential for free entertainment. I mean, just walking around the city in itself, in my opinion, is free entertainment. So this is something that I did for a very long time, especially during the weekend, to prevent myself from spending extra money. And my bonus tip is to start a side income generating activity. This is how this YouTube channel started. This is how my digital strategy journey and how my digital marketing company started, as a side hustle, something that I really enjoyed doing for myself. And at that time, I was working full time, and sometimes I would have Fridays off or over the weekend. When I didn't travel to cities with free entertainment, I would sit down and develop my own side hustle, which actually turned into a full business. And this is something great, because sometimes it is not so easy to drastically increase your income when you're a full-time employee. And one of the fastest ways to increase your income and start to also maybe spend more money on things that you enjoy is through being a business owner. And lucky for you, I have a full playlist here on this channel that talks all about starting your own business here in the Netherlands.